What's going on? What's going on? What's going on? It's your brother O.T.G. The O.T.G's for Overtime Grind. Hardly seen, but I'm always around. And today we talking transitioning in rap. You know, they don't want you to do it, but you gotta do it. You know, rap's only 50 years old. And the base of this convo today, this community convo, is in the 21 Savage situation. You know, 21 Savage spoke about the gun violence in Atlanta, said that it's been more killing than he's ever seen, and urged people to put the guns down. And people got upset and said, hey, that's what you rap about, and now you can't be out here telling us put our guns down and doing this when you rap about this. And, you know, unfortunately for 21 Savage, he responded in a way that, you know, I don't know, maybe if he had a publicist or had somebody, it would have just been a better response. He responded from the heart, but essentially said that, you know, if he rapped about anything else, he wouldn't have a fan base. His music is essentially entertainment or what he went through, and that he doesn't really encourage people to pick up guns or commit violent acts, and that he was going to rap about whatever he wanted to rap about. And, you know, I think that I thought it'd be a perfect topic for me to talk about, you know, especially coming from where we come from in the independent lane and being labeled gangster rap. You know, people every day wonder how I got all these followers and how do people know me. You know, even with Overtime Grind, it comes from me doing everything myself, being a record label. That's part of the hardly seen aspect. You know, I don't want to be branded as a producer or a rapper or a songwriter like I'm the label. You know, we make it all happen. I make it all happen. You know, I employ the people I need to get it done to make other things happen. It's just how it is. And because I'm an independent and I own it all, I don't really have to tell it all. You know what I'm saying? And because I come from a city that is the way it is and a lifestyle that was the way it was, you know, I'm lucky that the first half of my rap career and my whole part of my life was off the internet. Not in the aspect like I could be exposed, but in the aspect that I'm just happy it's not around every day, you know? And then I'm happy that for the last 10 years in the ways that I made moves, like I always chose to stay off camera, always chose to be masked up, always chose not to be in the videos, I just always chose to be out the way. You know, I'd rather have the money than the fame, you know, because I want the label to grow. And then also, you know, in real life, you know, you go through things in the street, you go through all kinds of things, and, you know, if I keep it 1,000, the fastest way to get your enemies to catch you is to catch you slipping because you think it's all good while you're on the internet. You know what I mean? And I do believe you come to a point where it starts to get old. I come to that point, you know what I mean? Like when we had that whole situation with Beans and Meek Mill, that was the moment for me where it was way too much. As a record label, I was just like, I ain't trying to do it no more, man. You know, my homie A.R.A.D. free the guys, he in jail. You know, things happen with Dark Low, he in a different situation. A lot of guys from OBH are dead, rest in peace. You know, I look back home to Illinois in the Midwest, a lot of guys is dead, rest in peace. You know, free Kill King. You know, we lucky to be here. I say it all the time. It's a blessing to be here, and at some point, you know, you really start thinking about what you put in the music, because the music lasts forever, and you start to think about what you're doing for the bread. It's just real, bro. And so I think 21 Savage might be coming to that point. I think it happens around, for most men, around the same age, 33, 34, if it's going to happen. That's when it's going to happen. You start thinking differently about the words you saying in the songs, the messages that you putting out, how you articulate things, and the things that you saying and the ways that you say them. And that's the reason why I don't listen to certain kind of music nowadays. Like, I still love trap music and gangster rap. You know what I mean? But it's a certain kind of way it has to be worded for me to still be in the mix of it. And it's a certain kind of sound of it that I like, that is reminiscent to a time I came up in, so I like a lot of that. But in reality, for the music that I write and I create, I've honestly been in a place of slowly changing that music over. It's also why how I handle things as a producer, because I know a lot of people in the music business. You know what I mean? I know a lot of producers. I know a lot of rappers. Every day rappers hit my phone. It's nothing to try to feed 110 beats and put an album out on them. I got it's just, that's not a problem. You know what I mean? But when you get into that space, you also are half of a creator of a thing. You know what I mean? And the type of beats that I specialize in, they get in the hands of certain people who want to rap, and then the type of music creates a thing. And I don't know if I really want to have parts in creating those things now. I'm 42, I got 2 children. I think about life differently. I think about living differently. I think about seeing things differently. So I can understand where a guy like 21 Savage is coming from. I think that the answer when it comes to rappers trying to transition, I think that's why you have other endeavors and you line people up, or you don't. Your true talent is to transition into another space, and you ease into that space, and your true fans will understand. I've been rapping so long, and I'm appreciative of the fans who buy the music direct and the people I still deliver it to. They have been a part of the transition into 7X O.T.G. and into a more positive, more aware space. But I think fans got to understand that, it's 2022, and in 2022, we got fake rappers. Most of these rappers is fake now, if we keep it 1,000. You know what I mean? Most. There's a lot that are still living the lifestyle. And the funny thing is, when people tell them they shouldn't live that lifestyle, especially coming from me as somebody who's been a real life manager, a lot of these guys only manage stuff from the internet. They've never really been outside. And it matters to go outside, because when you spend them hours on them blocks and outside in them streets, and hours in the cars and the vans, and bringing stuff in, taking stuff out, delivering the music, backstage, all of those different things, and you spend hours and weeks and months and years doing a thing, you start to understand management different. So a lot of people who haven't managed things have a whole bunch of opinion because they read some stories or seen some guys and they did some research from their phone. They think they know. They don't know nothing, man. They don't know nothing, man. It's hard out here. And so it's not really too many people out here moving, and the guys who are moving, who are still on that life, man, the expectation that they should just flip the switch because now they got some inconsistent money coming in. Streaming don't make no money in the music business, bro. You gotta put a bag up front and then you get it back. It's no different than internet marketers who spend $40,000 on Facebook ads just to make 50 back, bro. And you only really made 10, but you say you made 50. That's what rap is now. You can see Russ talking about it. They talk about it all over the place. And so when you think about that now, you think about having an investor. So when you think about Russ saying he put $1 million into a song with Ed Sheeran, $300,000 into a video, $700 into marketing, what do you think he's going to make back? Probably about $2. So when you think of American artists doing that and the money that's spent into the songs and the things that they're perpetuating, and the black American culture is the leading culture in the world right now. You know, it's leading so much black people from other countries want to be a part of it, but they don't like black people in America. That's a whole nother conversation for another day, you know what I mean? But they definitely think that black people in America are lazy and don't take their opportunities and complain a lot, and a bunch of different other things perpetuated from a system they don't understand. But you'll have to tune into the clubhouse rooms to have those conversations, you know what I mean? But what we do know is a fact is that black American culture, hip-hop, and hip-hop being the leading culture in the world right now. You know, and when you think about that, what it comes from is the black experience in America put into songs that has inspired so many people to pick up an art form and decide to do it. You know, sometimes it feels a little crazy trying to tell people not to talk about their experience. And when I was younger and people would say that to me about the type of music that we put out, you know, that they now say is the birth of drill music, you know, and things, drill and trap is what my demographic of music they say is responsible for. I'd say that, you know, it's no different than them saying broken glass everywhere. It's no different than the message. You understand? Like, I can understand the younger O.T.G will tell you, bro, I'm rapping my real life. When I talk about what's happening out here and what these guys will do and what people are saying and what these cops is doing and how these streets is moving, when I'm empowering these artists who's talking about what the trap is doing and what's going to happen if you do this, that, or the third, or if you say this, that, or the third. You know, it's entertainment in the aspect, but it's also something based in reality if it ever came to fruition. If the situation showed itself, you know what I mean? And at some point, without having therapy and not having access to a therapist at a young age and going through traumatic experiences, you know, you utilize the music, the late nights, you know, the time invested, the time putting words on paper, the time putting everything down. You use that as a way to release some of your thoughts and put that stuff in and get that stuff out of your mind and out of your body and out of you. You know what I mean? And I know there's going to be a lot of people in the comments who want to talk about drill and this and that and all the people who do it for entertainment and all the other stuff. I hear you. I hear you. lot of times I don't really respect you, but I hear you. I don't really respect a lot of people trying to be in our culture, but I understand how it works, so I don't really say too much. You know, from being somebody who comes from the culture, emulation always isn't flattery. You get what I'm saying? And so, you know, outside rules and all kinds of other people who feel like because they bought a record or did some stuff, they invested some time, feel like they have an opinion. I don't respect it. That's part of the reason why I tell you, you can like or dislike the videos. You can say whatever you want. You know, I came from making the beats and really pushing them out to Trump, from really recording in trailer courts and, you know, riding city to city and putting my life on the line, you know, and nobody told me I had to do it. Nobody made me do it. It was just what I felt like I had to do in the moment. And you know, I've gotten to a point where I've seen a different lifestyle. I got a lifestyle now from putting that work in where I could talk to you guys and I could run a platform and I still manage artists and I could raise my kids from home and I can homeschool and think about the future and actually think about what I say in the music and think about how what moves I make and how I want to project myself going forward, because I have other goals and other things that I want to do. And as a guy who really lived it, a guy who they might call a legend, who a lot of people call a legend, a guy who a lot of OGs salute and call an OG, I have the option and the opportunity to mold a future for myself and my children, because my black male experience and my black American experience is the coolest thing on the planet right now, and everybody wants a piece, right? But I gotta be mindful of how I do it and how I talk about it, because so many people want to steal it, so many people want to emulate it, so many people want to utilize it as a way as a springboard to find success. So many people want to blame it for what's still going on and all of these different things, while people are generating massive amounts of money off the culture that we live in that still treats us terribly, and we still, you know, going through a lot of different things. You know, when we talk about the violence in America and the violence in the streets, it's always a sensitive topic to me, because I feel like it's always outsiders having a lot to say. And I feel like the violence in the streets wouldn't be so high if we had a better police system and a better justice system. People would feel safer calling the police. But when you have a system of people who police themselves, because you have a corrupt system of government that allows unfair policing and unfair sentencing, then you can only expect for it to be high, violence to be high, drug use to be high. But, you know, and all of the reports of all of these things that's happening all the time that's so negative in the black community, they still not telling you that black women are the #1 graduates in colleges and universities, and that black people are graduating from high school at the highest rate in 20 years, 20 or 30 years. They also not telling you that the black family structure is probably the strongest structure in America right now. Yep, it's a true fact. You can look up all of these facts and get them. So while you're being reported to and seeing all of the reports of gun violence, this, that, and the third on television, remember what is the most famous culture and the most popping culture in America, in the world right now, and understand they'll use that to sell you a lot of things, whether it be the shot, whether it be monkeypox, whether it be whatever it is. They're gonna utilize people from that culture that is the coolest to be the face of anything that they're trying to move, whether that be gun control, whatever the case may be. You understand? I think the rappers definitely got to transition. I think the fans got to allow them to. I think the fans have to understand that the most vocal people on the internet and the comments most of the time are people who have control issues. They might have a lack of control, so what they can't control is what they say in the comments, and they try to control your narrative and how you do things. And I think you have to understand that and be okay with that. You know, I think 21 Savage, I don't blame him for what he said, and if it's how he feels, I salute him for keeping it 1,000. But I will say, you know, don't ever use that excuse that if I did something different, would the people still love me? I get it, but that's a different sign of weakness, and you're not that weak, beloved. You're not that weak. And we know you got bills to pay, so you find a way. You know what I mean? Like, everybody has moments of feelings and emotion where they get low and see things and it bothers them. And Atlanta's under attack right now. You know, they definitely got a whole situation going on where the rappers who live there are definitely under attack and being put under investigation, you know, for all kinds of different things. And, you know, in that aspect, I don't think that's cool, you know, because I will see an auto-tune ad where they talk about riding around with a gun on them, and the auto-tune ad that comes on YouTube. I don't think that, you know, if you could use it for advertisements and promotions and all kinds of different things, then how can you pick and choose which artists you're going to utilize their raps against them in court or in jail? I mean, in court to try to put them in jail. I think that's a little weird, you know what I mean? And using that auto-tune ad is just an analogy. I hear so much foul stuff in the ads because they want to use hip-hop and they want to appeal to the young crowd. And right now, the young crowd is into a drill sound. And, you know, we're not even going to talk about how, you know, Mace sat in front of Gillian Wallow and said that the bull from New York was managed by a cop. And he's active in the drill scene. So that means essentially it was a cop empowering the beef and drill music in New York City. You know what I mean? But hey, again, you know, there's all types of comments and commentary. You know, there's a lot of people who will say people shouldn't talk about killing their brothers and sisters and different things in the music. And I agree. But I also agree that where you come from and where you live, you know, you got to go to a transition into that thought process. You know, I think there's a lot of people who do it for entertainment and for the bag. And I think it's a little easy to understand and see who those guys are versus the ones telling true stories or real stories, you know. But I think the shaking of the goalposts makes it where everybody hides under entertainment. And so now you just kind of get to pick and choose who you feel is the truth and not the truth. You know, I think it's all shaky, and I wish people would get their hands out our culture. You know, but that's a different thing because they want you to sell it. And when you stay independent, they act like you lost. I'm still here all the time. Different guys are still here all the time. So, you know, I think that you continue to give back to the community. We've done so many community events. Some I post, some I don't. giveaways, things of that nature. I think you do them whether you post them or not. Your intention is always going to be what you get judged off of. So as you transition and go through changes utilizing this thing we call music to change your life, I think your intent with what you create, your intent and what you do, only you and Allah know, and from there, you know, that's the highest judge. And so if your intent is pure in the moves and the songs and the stuff that you're talking about, and it's just people's interpretation, then man, you just gotta let people interpret. You know, it is what it is. They have that right, and you have that right. I just don't believe in making excuses. You know what I mean? So with that, that's Community Convos. Let me know how you feel. I know it's a lot of weak guys out there who ain't going to get it, man. Keyboard gangsters. I know it's a lot of L7 guys who square, who think, you know, they tough, so they have a fight in the game. You know, I think it's always some guys who want to challenge, try to, you know, they always want to duel. It is what it is, bro. You be dueling with yourself. Because, you know, at the end of the day, like I say all the time, and I've always said, in real life, it's a different thing. When you outside and you're doing things, you moving, you making moves, and you might really have to see somebody. It's a different vibe then. You know what I mean? But I'm gonna leave that there. You know, I'm open, I'm always ready to listen to see what people have to say. Good, bad, ugly. Do you think 21 Savage was wrong? Do you think that guys who rap a certain kind of music aren't allowed to say and encourage the stopping of violence? You know, I think a lot of people, I've heard some people say that afterwards, so after he said this, he should no longer talk about gun violence or certain things. Do you believe that? Like I said earlier, I personally feel like at 42, I'm never going to stop making songs or writing hooks for people or creating music ever in my life. I'm plugged in, why would I? So if I'm plugged in, you know, the best thing I could do is just change the stuff that I write, you know, and try to have a different effect. That's how I personally feel. You know, I know some guys, we all come from that gangster real life gangster, you know, verified. And I'm watching all of us transition into different things as some hit their late 30s, early 40s, some hit mid 40s, you know. I see the moves, and I see it because also with social media we have access, so we see a lot more, and you see the effects. You see people you never seen before saying stuff that they could only got from hearing people from your neighborhood, you know, or they wearing things or making moves or doing things that it could only come from you guys, and they don't even know you. How crazy is that? And once you start seeing that, you start understanding something different. And you know, once you understand who you are, who the devil is, and who God is, you definitely start to do way different and try to bring the God out of your brothers and sisters. And on that note, I'm curious to what you have to say. Leave it in the comments, like, share, subscribe, comment, all of that good stuff. And quickly, I know some of you guys might not understand or not rock with some of this. Like, I seen the comment in the last video, and I understand, and I feel for the brother, but, you know, I have a lot of different lanes of people that I service. You know, lots of people that I service. Some people know me from buying beats from them. Some people know me for writing songs for them. Some people know me as an A&R. Some people know me as a record label, an engineer. You know, the thing that people probably know the least is that I make beats because I'm my own record label. That's why it's always overtime grind. And I never disclose where I place and different things of that nature. You know what I mean? Gotta keep the lights on. Keep your bread and buttered. Get what I'm saying? So because of that, this channel has to service different groups of people, and so sometimes the content is going to be a certain kind of way. Like, I might not put video and pictures up of the guys because, you know, inadvertently I might know these guys 6 degrees of separation, you know. Also, I'm a guy that, you know, by my affiliations, I stay under attack by different groups. And so it's a lot easier to not have to ever worry about violating any terms and services, because just delivering audio is my opinion, and I stand 10 toes down on everything I say, because I don't really diss nobody and I don't have no hate for nobody. I'm your brother. And for those in the culture, especially in America, they know what that means. You know what I mean? So with that, you know, I'm sorry, but it's going to be just music related content. Like, this is about music and the culture of music. So it is what it is. I appreciate you, and make sure you tap in. It's your brother O.T.G.